Hello, everyone. Welcome for a special edition of the Author Spotlight. Hey, we're doing the Market Leader Live, but somebody surprised us and came up with some things. And you know how we do it on Market Leader Live? We talk about how to be able to pivot in business, whether it's COVID-19 or whatever time it is. You got to be able to know how to make your next move your best move. But speaking of next move being your best move, I got my good friend on today, Mr. Rocky Garza. Say hello to the people, Rocky.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful Friday, getting ready for your Memorial Day weekend.
Awesome, man. I want to jump right into it. I know you're known as the identity coach or whatnot, and you deal with identity mapping, the whole nine. But brother, kill doubt, build conviction. Share it with everyone. You dropped a bombshell on us with the book, man. You know, why this book and why now?
Yeah. I think for me, as I look back, it's always been something for me, but I think it really relates to a lot of us, whether we're an entrepreneur or we're a parent full time or we're in the corporate world. I think in any of those spaces, it takes a lot of effort and energy to think about what are the things we really believe in, how do those things drive home who we are and what that looks like, and then how do we really make that matter? And I think as we consider those things and think about those things, for me, Kill Doubt, Build Conviction has kind of been a culmination of all the things I have looked at and thought about for a really long time and going, what has been the singular track or what are the thing in my life that I hope doesn't change or I hope doesn't go away? How do I really hone in on that thing? And really the thing that consistently gets in the way, whether that's in marriage, whether that's as a parent, whether that's in business, whether that's in any aspect of our life, doubt seems to be the thing that consistently is the barrier, the challenge, or the roadblock that pops up in my life. And so I thought, why is that the case? And is doubt is a 30,000-foot view of fear, obstacle, insecurity, spontaneity, whatever thing it is that elicits doubt in us. Is that a human thing? And if that is a part of the human condition, is there a way to identify doubt, find it, unearth it, look at it in the face, get rid of it, and then go, if doubt is removed, what therefore is replaced? And for me, I'm on a mission to reclaim the word conviction. The conviction is a deep-seated belief you are unwilling to waver from. And so for me, I think this book and now is because many of us, if not all of us, on some degree and some level, are riddled with doubt. Right? Like it is a singular thing that we go, can I do that? And then what happens is there's a story that is immediately pops into our brain that says, you can or you can't, you will or you won't, it's good or it's bad, it's positive or it's negative, almost immediately for all of us. And I think what's important is our ability to go, okay, can I two things. I call it grace and space. Space being a momentary pause to assess what is true. Am I willing to give myself or anybody else enough space to go, what is really true? Not good or bad, what is true? Okay, there is doubt has been elicited in my brain. I don't know if I can do that. Oh no, I don't know. Why is that the case? Okay, pause. Momentary pause for reality. Is that true? Well, I don't think it's actually true. Okay, then where did it come from? Grace. Do I have the ability to see myself in somebody else's shoes to go, where did that story come from? And do I have the ability to untangle the web of potential lies that I've believed about who I am and what I do for so long that has become a part of a truth that may not actually be true about who I am. And so I think now, given where we are with coronavirus, I think now, given where we are in the need to pivot in business, I'm in the midst of it as well, to go, okay, pause, let's go space. What is true? Grace, where does empathy needed to for myself and for others? And then to go, what are the stories that I'm actually believing about who I am? Whether your life was challenging or it was easy, whether you faced hard times or easy times, whether you have $1 million or $100, the reality is the common human thing that I have found amongst every person I've ever talked to or I've worked with is every human has a story. Every human also has stories that have been told to them about them that feed the narrative of who we are. And if we don't do the work to untangle those stories, to uncover and reveal what the truth is about who we are as people, we are inevitably going to live a life that is somebody else's story. And so for me, this book, the podcast as well, both of those are opportunities for us to engage, I think, really with ourselves, but then even into the places that we have influence in our life to go, one, what are the stories I believe about me? And two, what are the stories that me as a father and me as a husband, what are the stories that I'm communicating to my wife and to my children about who they are that I'm even unaware of because I don't even have a really good sense of myself? And so for me now, why the topic, why the book? One, because I think it's wildly important for us to have the conversation. And then I think two, and again, and some people may like this and some people may not, because I think it's a conversation that many men are not willing to have, because doubt and conviction, if they can't relate it to their ability to generate an income, they go, well, it doesn't matter. And I can tell you, if you're a husband or a father and you have children and you're married, and you think that your zeros in your account are more important than the influence you have in the people that you love, I'm telling you, bro, I think you're wrong. Not that I think that it's not, money is not a great tool. It is. I'm on the money as a tool. I want a lot of tools. I'm not mad about that. All I'm saying though is that I think a lot of times we are not willing to engage because we don't have the answer, and we've been on repeat for so long. We haven't given ourselves enough space to go, hey, is that actually really true? And is that who you really are? Or is that just a story you've always believed because it's easier? And so I want us to be able to pause and go, let me actually look at it and go, what is true about who I am? What do I actually believe about me? Can I uncover the doubt that exists that has created this false sense of security and purpose that's not actually me, to really build a deep conviction about who I am and those that I love and what my mission and purpose is, so that every day I can wake up and go, hey, today, before I go outside, I'm going to look in the mirror before I look out the window. Today, when I wake up, I'm going to look in the mirror and go, hey, who is the person that I see reflected back to me? And do I believe that person is good? Do I believe I am unique? Do I believe I have the ability to change and influence other people's lives, regardless of what my role in any business is? And if the answer to that is yes, your vantage point when you look out the window changes so much. But when you do it the other way around, when you look out the window first, you go back to the mirror and you are frustrated that the mirror didn't reflect the falseness that you saw when you looked out the clear glass, right? And so for me, that's what the book is. That's what the podcast is. That'll be one thing unique to the podcast, is it's not a promotional podcast. I'm not knocking those. There's just a lot of those. You don't need another one of those from me. So like, we're not going to have any guests on. It's like, and today, my newest thing out, and I hope you can follow me at, you may not know any of the people that are on the podcast. Why? Because we're going to keep it around 30 minutes. People are going to show up and we're going to go, hey, who are you? What doubt do you have that makes you human? Where did it come from? Where do we build conviction in that? And I hope you walk away with a deeper truth than you had before, because I think that's a similarity and a commonality that we all have. And my hope is that the book does the same thing.
Yeah. Hey, that's smoking, man. My guy, Rocky, this is just who he is, man. This is just, y'all just getting what he talks about on the regular conversations and whatnot. This is who he is. So I want to just go back a little bit and do more of a deep dive into that. When we talk about the narrative, what are you telling yourself? And so many of us are in autopilot, whether we're in business, whether we're over a nonprofit, whether we're just in our homes leading, whatever it may be, and we're not even questioning. So to me, just on a personal level, on a personal level, the thing that stood out to me was the importance of looking at yourself and actually asking yourself those questions. And I think that's the amazing job that Rocky does for so many of us, is make us look at the man or the woman in the mirror and ask the question. Okay, so let's go a little bit deeper into this. Why do you have the thoughts that you have when it comes to working out? Why do you have the thoughts that you have when it comes to money? Why do you have the thoughts that you have when it comes to alcohol or drugs or whatever that situation? And if you really think about it, let's just even look at it for some of us with even school. Nothing wrong with school, but some of us just went to school because we were told to go to school.
Yep.
We were told to get this particular degree. Even though we might suck at it, it's something that we hate, but we're doing something that our parents want us to do.
Yep.
So how long do you think that you're going to be effective doing something that somebody else put upon you and that there's not even in your wheelhouse to do? So when it gets tough, and we all know dealing with COVID-19, that life will hit you in the mouth. And when you get hit in the mouth, that it's not even something that you're passionate about or that you care about, it's going to be easy for you to fold. It's going to be easy for you to start pulling and getting distracted by vices and other things in life and putting on a front facade when it comes to your life. And so that's what I love about the teachings that Rocky has, is that it's not like, and I'm not knocking this. It's not like I'm just, going to see a psychiatrist. And if you need psychiatry, do get that help. I believe in it, the whole nine. But you want to make sure that you're getting the right mentors, regardless if it's your psychiatrist, if it's a business coach, if it's a health coach. Somebody that's rolling joints with, saying some, nice, good new socks on or whatnot, just listening to you getting paid is not actually helping you. And so when you look at that narrative, what are you telling yourself? Did you tell yourself that you had to do this blank type of work because someone, and you could even have a job. And that's the thing that I love about Rocky too, when we're talking about kill doubt, is the understanding of you can make 100 grand. You can make 1 million. You can have more degrees than a thermometer. But at the same time, if you haven't self-assessed yourself and thought about why do I think the way I think, and let's get beforehand, I'm going to pass to Rocky so he can go forward with this. But also that other part, Rocky, where you brought up the easy part is for me just to say, this is just me.
Yep.
The easy part is for me not to have to self-assess.
Yep.
Not to have to look and see what grandma and mom and daddy done told me that might not even have anything to do with me. They done bestowed upon me the thought. It doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't mean that you don't love your parents. It doesn't mean that you don't love Big Mama. It doesn't mean that you don't love the community, the area that you're from. I think people get the wrong way. But what has been shared with me that is limiting me from being who I'm supposed to be because of where I come from. The good things, the character, the morals, keep. But if I got a limited belief when it comes to money, if I got an overspending habit, if I got a bad idea when it comes to if somebody's successful, they must have robbed somebody, or if who did they sleep with to get in this position, or for me to be a dad, I just need to make the money, and I don't never ever need to tell my kids I love them. I show them I love them just because I go to work. These are the things that you're talking about. Could you talk more to those areas, Rocky, if you don't mind?
Yeah. So I think here's the way that it breaks down to me. There are two stories that play in our life all the time, and I'm so grateful for you saying there's a word, and I always mess it up, and so that probably means I shouldn't use it if I'm not smart enough to know what it is. But pathologize is the word, right? It's where we take our parents and we make them out to be bad people because we said something they did. We look at now and go, I wish they wouldn't have done that. Like my life was not normal growing up. Like my life's not normal now, but it definitely wasn't normal growing up, right? And so and that doesn't mean my mom didn't love me. It doesn't mean my dad didn't love me. It doesn't mean my grandparents didn't love me, or that they were bad people, or that my mom and dad probably loved me more. My grandma and grandpa probably loved me more than anyone in the entire world. And also, I have to look at the stories that were told to me about me, both in words and in actions. And it's okay for me to get a little frustrated sometimes as an adult to go, I don't understand why my dad works so much. And at the same time, you know what I also say? I don't know anybody in my life that works as hard as my dad. And I look at him and go, hey, if I can work half as hard as he has, it's going to be a good life, because I can count on my dad for anything to show up when effort is required, because he always comes through, because that's who he is, right? Like I want us to see light like that. Both have to hold both. We want to make everything positive and negative because we want to be right. And I think a lot of times in life, it's not about right and wrong. It's about right and left. But we are unwilling to look at right and left, and we choose right and wrong instead because we want to be on top. And you negate all the things that you are designed for when we want to just win. When you just want to be on top, you don't leave any room for the story. So to me, there's two stories at play. It's the stories that have been told to us about us. That's the things that people tell us about us, and we can't control that, right? Rocky, you're too emotional. Rocky, you're too sensitive. Rocky, you're too vulnerable. Rocky, just be a man. Rocky, stop crying so much. Why, Rocky, talk about if you could be a sales coach, you'd make a lot more money than an identity coach. Rocky, what even is an identity coach? You think you can help me figure out my identity? I'm a grown man, and I don't know who I am. You think you can help me know who I am? Right? All the stories. Rocky, what exactly do you do when family members are like, tell me what you do again, and you charge how much for that? And you talk to people for that? What exactly is that? Right? Like that story, that's the story people tell me about me. Maybe I am not as good as I think that I am. Maybe I am not as valuable as I think that I am. Maybe I am not as significant or have the ability to create impact in people's life the way that I think that I do. It's one story. The second story is the stories I tell myself about myself. This is the moments of me in the mirror. This is the moments where Rocky says to himself when I drive home today and I go, am I going to make it? Am I too vulnerable? Like, should I just cuss a little more, rent a Ferrari for the day, do a photo shoot? And that way I can show them like I really am arriving. Like, do I really want to show them the 2002 Tahoe that I drive that the back glass flew out of the other day when I was driving down the road because it's old? If they saw that, would they believe me? Do they know, right? Like the stories I tell myself about myself. Now, each of those have a significant power on their own. But where they become dangerous or they become deep conviction that allows you an immense amount of freedom is where they intersect. When the stories that are told to us about us intersect a story we tell ourselves about ourselves, it creates what I refer to as a lowercase t truth. I mean, it does not mean that it's true, but it means we believe it's true. So the story told to me, Rocky, you're too sensitive, right? The story told to you, no, man, this is how you got to be a dad. This is what dads do. Let's take it a step further. This is what Latino dads. Let's take it a step further. This is what African American dads do, right? I guess that's how it is. So that's just the stories told to us about us. That's us. So we got to fulfill those needs, right? We don't talk about emotions. Don't worry about it. Did you eat? So I guess I love you. Why? I don't understand what the question is. When that intersects the stories we tell ourselves, it creates this moment where now we've created the dialogue with ourselves that we just do it because we think it's true. And the only thing we have the ability to control now is the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves. But until we can recognize where those two stories intersect, we can't change this one. We can't create a new course. We can't create a new conviction because they're not crossed once and you uncross them once and you're like freedom for life. That's not how it works. They're interwoven like DNA. They're interwoven like threads that have been woven and bound together. And so what we do is we have these two stories. You have to be willing to sit long enough to identify both. Then you have to be willing, when you identify both, to go, what is actually true and what is not? And then when you identify what's true, you have to say, what is good, true, and beautiful about that story? Here's the reality. Am I too intense? Nah. Am I intense? Every day. Am I too emotional? No. Am I emotional? Yes. Am I too vulnerable? No. Am I vulnerable? Yes. Am I concerned about your well-being and I want to get to the root of the issue and I don't want to just sugarcoat it? Absolutely. But am I too worried about you? No. Right? Like, how do we communicate with ourselves and what is the story that it is? I'm a dad. You should do that because I say. Except I forgot that you're a human being and you're an individual, whether you're 2, 4, or 14, and you have the ability to make decisions for yourself. And the things in my life that I'm doing that I don't like, you know why? Because my whole life somebody told me I was supposed to do those. So for us to go a step deeper, for those of you that are with us, that are watching, I'm going to challenge you and encourage you even now. Don't hear what I'm saying and then go, oh, nah, I don't believe that's dumb. Just stay with me for a second. Ask yourself, what is the number one? So if I say when you get in the car, well, theoretically, we're not getting a lot of cars these days, but go with my analogy here. Maybe a better example. The lights turn off. It's 10:55 p.m. Getting ready to go to bed. There's no sound. I want you to think about what is the story that is running through your brain most nights? What is the thing you are telling yourself about yourself most nights? What is the narrative you are building about the life that you have and the decisions you made and the way you treated people most nights? And if that story is that I messed up and I screwed up and I feel guilty for what I did and I feel ashamed of how it happened, or we try not to think about what we did because we don't have to want to deal with all the decisions that we made. My guess is that we're living a life that's based on a story that was not written by us. We're based on a story that somebody else is telling us about us. I don't think any human being goes to bed on most nights with a deep conviction about what they're doing and says, I bet it's wrong. We go to bed at night and we rest easy because regardless of what the rest of the world thinks, we believe in our soul that we're doing the thing that we were made and designed to do, and we're going to trust the process. And is your ROI on that going to be exactly what everybody else's look like? Probably not. It's taken me 5.5 years, and today, via email, I launched a coaching program with people. It took me 5.5 years to do it, and guess what? People emailed back and said, sounds great, I'd love to do it. And so why did it take me 5 years to do it? Because the last 5 years, I've been telling myself the wrong story. Because for the last 5 years, I've been telling myself, you're not a coach. Because for the last 5 years, I've been saying, are they going to really increase their sales? And if not, are they going to want to hire you? Because for the last 5 years, I've been so worried about the fact that I wasn't being taken seriously and I was going to be looked at like a joke. So to take my own advice, to heed my own advice, I have to go, you know what? What is doubt then? What is doubt and how do I define it so I can get rid of it, so that I can actually live a life that I believe in, that I think is true? And so here's how I want to define doubt for you. Those of you that are watching, now, or you hit back on this replay, I want you to hear some. If you have your phone out and you're looking at something else, I want you to pause for a second. I know it's weird in a live video for me to boss you around, but welcome to my life. So I want you to pause for a second. I want you to listen. Doubt is dumb. I don't like it. I don't think that it's kind, and I definitely don't think that doubt cares about you. But then again, I think that's what makes it doubt. It's like a tiny little thief always with us, secretly stealing the beauty, wonder, and uniqueness inside each of us when we least expect it. Because see, doubt is patient. It waits and it doesn't pressure you or give you any sense of urgency. It just sits calmly and waits for the moment that you might actually begin to believe in yourself, that you are worthy and valuable, regardless of what somebody else has told you your entire life. And then almost like clockwork, it recognizes that you're about to take that step and make that move, finally to go in the direction you really believe in. And then it strikes. It reminds you of those stories that someone told you about you. It reminds you of the moment you failed. It reminds you about all the conversations you've had with yourself over the last few years, where in the end, just like you, doubt convinces you that you're just not as good as you think that you are. Does that sound familiar? Does that feel familiar? The moment where you're finally about to do it, and then almost like a vapor, belief just vanishes. I get it. Me too. And that's why I wrote the book. That's why we have the podcast. That's why I, as a human being to you, as Rocky Garza, has embraced the idea that I'm an identity coach. Because the reality is that none of us were made to do this alone. None of us have the ability to do it by ourselves. And the moment you think that you were created to be a lone wolf and a lone soldier is the moment that you will die alone. Because that's not how we were designed. And anything wonderful and great in your life that has ever happened has happened in the context of another human being who was walking alongside you. I don't have to be that person. But someone needs to be that person. The get tough, the grit it out, the stick to itness, we're not going to survive that way. You're not going to survive that way. And we're definitely not going to thrive that way. And we're definitely not going to live a life that's sustainable that way. I lived a large portion of my life believing the wrong story. And my hope and my encouragement for you is that you, unlike me, will not live your life based on somebody else's story, but you'll be able to create a story of your own. Story based off deep conviction and understanding of who you are as a human being. Under the belief that there is no one in the world like you. Understand and do the self-assessment to what is that and what is that uniqueness and what does that mean? And then how do we use that and leverage that in order to build a deep conviction about who we are and what we believe that sets a trajectory that is not just about things that we do, but is about building and living and leaving a legacy behind of deep truth and conviction about who you are as an individual.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Man, that's what I'm talking about. That's why you got to get the book. You need to go. I put the information. If you go to rockygarza.com/links, you will be able to find out more, not only about the book, you'll be able to get information about the podcast, also to be understand. I know some of you think like, how do I get a hold of that coaching? Hey, how do I get more of this? That's why I just want to give y'all just a little taste, I can't give you too much of Rocky right now. I'm giving you some Similac before we get into the meat and potatoes of this thing or whatnot. And also Rocky will be with us as well the first weekend in June or whatnot for our event, Market Leader Mastery, where he will be doing his own segment. I won't be in the way. He's going to be able to just get loose and do his thing or whatnot. But I want you to think about that. I had to have him come on. So even if you're not even at Market Leader Mastery, we just want to make this message available. And this is what this is about. We just want you just to think. Yep. Just to ponder. And I'm going to share a little bit even with my own. I had some things that happened to me, even with, with my oldest son, where it was a moment and I had to just, apologize. And I had to do just because it's some rhetoric or some stuff that I had in my head as far as things that I thought or felt that it was a way to parent or idea. And like I said, it wasn't anything physical. It wasn't, nothing like that. But it's just, what are we telling ourselves? And I'm looking at even the life that I'm living right now. Like I used to work at a distribution plant, nothing against that, but and I love the people and I love that. But this life that I'm living now was inside of me the whole time. But what are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself your dad came from this situation? You come from a single parent household. Just be glad that you got an opportunity, got a job. Are you disrespecting God because you want more in life? Also, are you willing to be truthful to yourself and tell yourself the reason that I'm not having the life that I'm supposed to have is because, yes, God loves me. Yes, I'm called. Yes, I'm highly favored. But am I willing to learn a new skill set?
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to do what others won't do? Are you willing to do things like that? These are the things that you want to do. You know, it's good for me to say that I want certain things and I'm desiring certain things, but am I treating people right? Have I let go of things that have happened beforehand, or I felt like I've been slighted, or nobody don't know my pain or whatnot? And like Rocky brought up earlier, it doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be Rocky, but you have to help your family and help yourself first and understand, what am I telling myself? Because I see so many people, Rocky, and I used to think this was a joke. I can tell, and this isn't even including me. I'm going to use me as the example. I am where I am in life because of my thoughts. Let me say that again. I am where I am in life because of my thoughts. When I thought I was Tupac, I was where I was in my life because I thought I was Tupac. You know, when I thought that, you know, I'm in school, I'm in college, and this is what we do, you know, at the college I went to, this is who I am as a college kid, then that's the life. When I thought I was a realtor, you know, that's I did realtor things. When I realized that I was a business, we are where we are because of our thoughts. Relationships, kept having relationships. I had to realize, wait a minute, Darren, the common denominator in all these relationships are you. So how long are you going to keep blaming everybody else when it's you, the person who's going to every relationship? Well, you don't like what you're getting paid. Well, Darren, what are you doing? I can't give you, Rocky, what I want to give you and think I'm supposed to get paid for it.
Yep.
And that's the hard part in people's psyches to understand. So I don't want to have a stroke. I don't want to have a heart attack. Darren, get your ass up.
Yep.
And get up and work out before you go to work and stop crying and making excuses.
Yep.
Well, most people who in leadership at church, they just eat fried chicken and rolls at the back of it and potato salad because that's just who we are until we croak and we fall out dead. But boy, he could preach good.
Yep.
What is the narrative that you're telling yourself? Well, you are 50 years old, so that means you're 50. So, I mean, it's no sense of you thinking that you're still supposed to have life right now. You know, I mean, that's young people type of things, you know, trying to travel and start something new, be in shape. That's not what we do at this age.
And not only that, but think about the amount of people that the metaphorical person we're quote unquote talking to right now. Think about the amount of people in your life that you have influence over, that if you took the first step, how many people when you took step 2 would be right there with you? Think about the amount of people. Think about in your life, who can you identify that took a step for you before you, that paved the way for you to see the world in a way that you didn't before? That is the ability and power you have if you choose to say, I'm going to change the story. I'm going to change the narrative, right? The phrase, maybe this will provide some freedom for some of you who need that extra boost. The phrase is, many of us who are watching this now, I don't care if you are 12, you are 20, or you are 62, this is a real statement. You, in some form or fashion in your life, are a generational breaker. You are doing something in your life in a way that nobody else before you did. Therefore, you are creating a break in the generational consistency. But here's the thing you're going to have to own if that's you. And if you want that to be you and you want to be a generational breaker, here's what you have to own. Most days, are you making it up as you go? Absolutely. But are you faking it? Never. Right? Like what I choose to do that I'm doing differently now that I didn't do before, am I creating a generational break? Yes. Do I know what marriage should look like? No, didn't really grow up seeing one. Do I know what it's like to be a father and how to be a conscious father and support my children and their emotions and their thoughts? No, like I didn't really experience that. And that has nothing to do with my dad. That's not what I'm saying. If that's how you hear that, you got to stay with me. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about me. But for me, in order to do that, am I going to make it up most days? Yes, because I've never done it before in my life and I'm trying my best. And that does not mean that I'm faking it. And so if we get caught up in the like, well, what are they going to think? And what are they going to say? And what are my boys going to think? And if I like get down on the knee and talk to my son and when he's crying and I cry with him and I let him know that it's okay to be emotional and it hurts when you fall off your bike and I'm there to support him and encourage him to get back up, I'm going to look like a chump or I'm going to look like a fool, or that's not what you do to get strong, or that's not what you do to, says who? Because did it make you stronger whenever you needed someone and you were in pain, but no one encouraged you? Did it make you feel stronger when you wish someone would pick you up when you fell off your bike, but nobody was there? Did it make you feel good whenever you had something, you needed something, or there was a need in which you hope would be met and the conversation never got had? And so now you're 32 years old, you're wondering where people are, and you wonder why you can't have a conversation. Your relationships are broken because people don't actually know who you are, because you're really good at disclosure, but you're really bad at vulnerability. So are you going to make that break and look at your son in the face and say, hey, dad wants just to apologize and ask for your forgiveness because I acted in a way that I shouldn't have acted? And I got to be willing to let my 4-year-old go, you know what, dad, it's okay. I love you. I forgive you. But when you're like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say. Right, because you've never done it before. So you're going to keep doing what you've always done, or you're going to make a decision to do and change and be something different. Not for the sake of being different, but because you believe deep in your soul that that's who you are. And you're less concerned with somebody else's perception, and you desire more to have a significant impact on reality. But I think it's a decision we have to make to decide, are you willing to do what's required? Are you willing to put in the effort? And are you willing to do the assessment to say, this is what I think and I feel and who I am, and I'm willing to be unapologetic about that. But I can't decide that for you. Darren can't decide that for you. Nobody can decide whether or not you are willing to be unapologetic about who you are. That's got to be you. And if you're stuck and you're unsure what that means and what that's like, call me, text me, 469-649-8441. Say, I don't know who I am, but I need help. All right, we'll figure it out.
What's that number again, Rocket?
It's 469-649-8441. We send a text message every day called the Daily Rock. It's a way to challenge, encourage, motivate you Monday through Friday. All you got to do is just text us. It's free. It don't cost you anything.
Awesome. I got that information. I'm showing everyone. Make sure you write that down. That's 469-649-8441. Make sure that you reach out, text Rocky. Definitely, hey, this is the type of conversation. When we talk about being a market leader, there's different facets to life. And these are the things that you need to realize. But this is something that I found, that by doing this, that 469-649-8441, this is something that I've realized. You will prosper as your soul prospers. It's your mind, your will, your imagination, your emotions, and your intellect. It's the combination of all those areas that I just shared with you that's going to allow for you to be able to abound and be who you are called to be. But I've also found that it's a direct connection. If you're not right at home, forget that. If you're not right just personally or internally, it doesn't matter what facade, it doesn't matter what title you have, it doesn't matter how many trips you go on, how many toys you have, that doesn't matter. You're going to have an incomplete feeling. And then that's going to allow for you to fall into other areas that all of a sudden when it shows up, wow, you hear about that guy? Wow, did you hear about her? Oh, this happened in their relationship. This happened with their kids, because we didn't identify what the issue was. But the good news is that we've been blessed with people like my man, Rocky Garza, whatnot, that can assist you. Rocky, if you don't mind, share with the people, because I want to be respectful of your time. How can they connect with you? I shared earlier the website, but any details? How can they find the podcast? How can they buy the book? How can they get in contact and find more about you?
Yeah. So the kind of the plan is, the text is the easiest way. Shoot us a text message. That's the easiest free way for us to get content to you as quick as possible and consistently. Right now, if you send us that text message, we also have an online learning platform called Be Known, where we've got online courses dedicated to clarity of self, building confidence, and creating meaningful relationships. And if you text us today and say, hey, I want to join, we'll give you 30 free days on that platform. So if you're watching this and you want access to that, send us a text message. That's the easiest way to do it. From there, we'd love for you to listen to the podcast. It's just called Kill Doubt, Build Conviction. You can get that wherever you get podcasts from. It's live today on all those things. So give us a listen. And as always, as anybody who has a podcast, make sure to subscribe, rate, and comment on that if you want to. And then, we have an online platform that you have access to. We'll give you 30 free days on that. You can get the book, Kill Doubt, Build Conviction. It's out for pre-order right now. You can get that from rockygarza.com/book. You can go straight there. Or if you're interested in coaching, it's just rockygarza.com/coaching. There's not a lot of guys out there named Rocky Garza who wears a hat like this and eyebrows this big. So easy to find. There's no reason now that you can't, if you really want to do the work and you want to put in the effort. Again, I'm going to be really clear with you. If you're looking to increase your sales, you're calling the wrong guy. Don't text me. I'm not your guy. You're going to be very disappointed. If you want to do a deep look at who you are as a human being, why that matters, and then use that language in order to make a significant impact in every other arena of your life, then I'm your guy. My greatest desire is to help you discover the confidence and conviction you need to build a life you believe in. And I think that comes from a deep understanding of who we are, why that matters, and how we're going to put that into practice.
Awesome. Man, Rocky, I want to thank you so much, man, for coming on to the show. For those who are tuned in, this is what we do here. That's why I have people like Rocky in my life or whatnot, is because you want people who make you better, who help you to make you think, not get upset, not be like that freaking Rocky guy. Who do you think he is? And all blah, 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 blah. That's not what it's about, people. You want to have people around you who make you look better. I can say, and I'm just going to be on this, me, Rocky working together on the book. Our company is working with Rocky's company. Okay. So I thought that we were going to be serving Rocky Forrest the book, okay, which is understandable. You know, we're doing the books. He's putting the book out, okay. We get to talking. We start connecting. I'm joining some of his groups and listening and learning stuff. So there are things that I want to go back and go against. I want to push back a little bit on what Rocky said. I believe that it does increase your sales. And I'm not saying he's a sales trainer, but what I'm sharing with you is that they have found out, for you to be better now, they've even done studies that show by you playing a video game is allowing for you to be able to do different things and use your mind and be quicker now compared to when we grew up. What's the narrative? Put those video games down. It's making you dumber. Now all of a sudden they telling you by playing video games now or doing like Rocky does or whatnot with his bike or whatnot and getting out there riding, it can allow for you to be more productive. So I'm just sharing with you, just getting with the right people. It doesn't have to be, you know, sell, kill. You know, you need to do this, you know, technology fest and all that for you to be able to be successful. I'm sharing with you, get with the right people, be willing to learn, be willing to receive the information. When Rocky shared information with me, I was able to catch it, not have ego, and be able to implement it. So it's allowed for me to be a better husband, a better father, a better business owner, because I'm checking the narrative. And when I see it rise up, I'm able to cut it off or stop and know what's going to happen here if I keep allowing for this to go on, so I'm not repeating those habits. So other than that, if you want more or whatnot, make sure that you go to Market Leader Master so he do his whole segment so you can have it, or go and text at 469-649-8441 or go to rockygarza.com/books to be able to get the new book. But once again, Rocky, thank you so much for tuning in, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And again, if you need anything, never hesitate to reach out. If the only reason you don't get what you need is because you're not willing to put forth the effort, which means you look in the mirror and you say, I'm not valuable enough in order to reach out to somebody else. The offer has been given to you. You have a phone number, you have 30 free days on a platform, you have access. If you don't do it, I don't feel bad for you. But if you do it, we're here for you. It's up to you.
Awesome. Hey, until next time, let your next move be your best move. Be blessed and be great. Great job, Rocky, man. You killed it, bro.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man. It's awesome, man. I'm glad to be on.